Okay, so after I did that video yesterday, 3 other instances came to me. I don't know what you would call it, like situations. And I don't know the one person, the one dude, I don't know his family situation. But the other 2 guys and the one I talked about yesterday all had dads in their family and had, I think they had, I don't know if their parents ever got separated, but that as far as I know, they had like 2-parent homes. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know, pretty much. I mean, kind of, not really, because it still is like you only learn what you learn from your parents, but it's like a lot of us didn't grow. A lot of us who have struggled so much with the relationships didn't grow up with healthy dynamics with their families. Because mine, even like my parents were technically together, but like they were never together. My dad was always working, like literally on the weekends he'd be outside, and then we would go out in the boat and my mom wouldn't be there. And then my mom told us they were going to separate, and then she was like staying upstairs and they would fight all the time and stuff. So anyways, okay. Okay, there was this one guy. I'm going to try to do one at a time. I had a fling with, a situationship, as people call it now. And when we started to get intimate, started to get more serious, I had the notion that I was like, okay, like he's my boyfriend. And I remember talking to my sister about it, and she was like, you need to clear that up with him, because you don't, like he had crazy work hours. So a lot of times we would see each other at the end of the day, and it was just, we didn't have a lot of time together and stuff. And so I brought it up to him, and then I found out that he was talking to other girls, but he was very open with me about like, I can't remember. Y'all, it was too long ago. I don't remember specifics, but I was like, oh, okay, like it's not that serious. And then, okay, I don't want to get, there's some more personal details that don't need to be said, but he could tell that I had, and he knew that, like we had different we had an intellectual connection, and so we'd had different discussions about how, like, in being intimate with someone, you can develop this closer bond and stuff like that. Like, we'd had these talks, and then when it got to be at that place, it was like, and he already told me that he was talking to other girls. He was like, the next time that I saw him, it was really weird. And I remember when I kissed him, he was like standoffish, and then like when he left that night, and he didn't want to get close to me, didn't want to get personal. And when he left that night, he was like, oh gosh, I wish I could remember specifically, because it was so crazy. It was like, he was like, something about like, I can't do this. And he pretty much told me that he was like still like caught up with his ex. And I had no guy to this day has ever done that to me, but he knew that I was way more serious. I was going to get pulled into it, and it was going to get serious really fast. And he didn't want to, and I was probably about to go back to school at that point anyway, but it was like, it always, I don't even think it made me mad, because I had so much respect in that, even in that moment of like, wow, like, thank you for just being honest and like not dragging this out any longer. It was so powerful. So that was one that I wanted to give. And then there was this other guy that I freaking adore to this day. I'm not going to give names. I kind of want to for him, because he's just so awesome. But we lived in these like duplexes in college at one point, and it was like me and 3 other girls, my sister and 2 other girls, and then with the one next to us was all dudes. And I think I talked about how we used to like hang out together and stuff. So I was supposed to go to this Mardi Gras ball with somebody who dropped the ball. He literally dropped the ball on me. Like, I was supposed to go with this one guy and he couldn't go. And so I asked one of our neighbors, one of the guys, because this one guy like brought us all this candy one time on Valentine's Day, and they all hung out with us anyway, like all of us together. But I remember that specifically because I was like, that was so sweet of him. So I was like, will you go to this dance with me? And I already got the tickets and everything. And he was like, yeah. And then he like took the opportunity and like asked me out on another date so that we could kind of get to know each other. And so we did that, and then, we got our stuff, and like we drove together. And, I don't remember it being like, okay, I don't want to get into details, but I felt he was just a very, very strong masculine energy. And I just felt very comfortable with him. And he, like, it didn't get really serious. I don't think we ever kissed. But I do remember it being a little bit snuggly. I did get a little bit too drunk. And I remember specifically him like making sure that I ate and stuff like that, and how cute it was, because I was like, it was just really sweet. And then it was like, I think we were home for like a day. And then we drove back, because this is when I was in Auburn. And then we drove back, and I remember on the ride back, he was like, so like we're dating now, right? And I remember being like, I don't even remember, y'all. It was so I don't know what I said. I have no idea. I think I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to say. And then I had to like, I probably just said like, I need to think about it or something lame like that. And then, I went back, and then like, I think it was maybe the next day or something, I went over to his place, and he was in his room playing video games. And I pretty much just told him, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't see us being more than friends. And I'll just never forget the way he was just like, okay. And I was just like, you don't want to talk about it? Like, do you still want to be friends? And I was like, I didn't know how to handle it. And I probably was more like anxious attachment. I don't even know at that point. And he was like, no. And he was like, he might have even been like, you need to go. I don't remember, because I remember it hurt, but after that we were still friends. And again, I had never experienced something like that before. And my respect was just like through the roof for this person that just stood their ground and didn't let me get any bullshit, didn't let any bullshit happen. And he, to this day, like, there's been different instances that have happened where he has checked on me. And like one time specifically, I got a black eye from Teddy. It was a total accident. It was when he was younger, a little bit younger, and he fell on my face, on like the bone on my face, and it gave me a black eye. And he was like, who do I need to go beat up and stuff? And it was like, that's the stuff to me that like, that stands out as like powerful, protective, masculine energies that like know who you are and know your role, and you just play your role. And those people always have a special place in my heart, because I'm like, all I have for you is mad respect, like, and you didn't even have to be this, we didn't even have all this connection. Like, we didn't even have to spend all this time together, or like become best friends or anything. And I want to give, while I'm speaking all this, I want to give one more instance of like, because these all kind of caught me off guard too, but it was just, it's always been something that stuck with me. I was friends with like a group of guys in my first year of college, and there's a couple things that was coming to me, but I wanted to just speak on this one incident. It's like, I got really high one night with some friends, and I like went over to see one of the guys. I know he had a roommate. I don't remember who his roommate was, but anyway, I don't know why I don't even know why I went over to his place. And we just sat and hung out and we talked. And then the same thing, like he was an Aquarius, and we just had a really strong intellectual connection. He was crazy driven. Like I've never because he was like he was like an inline skater too. And he was just like so driven about what he wanted to do in life. And it was so he was such an interesting person to talk to. And I remember there was this point where it was like, I think he laid, like it was at night, and he laid his head down on my lap, or I don't know. And I'm not gonna, nothing got weird or anything. I'm not gonna be specific, but like, I remember playing with his hair, and it just got like a little bit, like whatever. But it never escalated from there. And then he was like, I think I need to take you home. And which was like around the corner, because we lived in the same space. Yeah, it's just a minute. And it was so funny to me too, it was late and I was tired, but it was funny because he got in his car and he literally zoomed across the little place and dropped me off. And it was like, it always stood out to me, because it was like, he knew that I wasn't in the right mind to be, and that he didn't want it to get weird, because we're like, all friends, and it was about to cross a line. It was like, and maybe he was dating somebody. I have no idea. I hope not, because I would feel bad about that. But like, I don't even know. And then we were in college and stuff, but I same thing. It was like, my respect was just like, hell, it's all, that's the stuff that's like, even if you didn't get the chance to like see if it was anything more, it's like, that's where men, like, being in those spaces, like, you just check a woman even just by doing that, because it's like, okay, like, we haven't had any conversations. I don't know if you're interested in me. Like, I don't want to cross this line with you. Like, don't get me caught up in some bullshit, that's kind of what the message feels like to me. And again, to this day, I still, these people, these are all guys that I like have respect for. And I feel safe and protected and comfortable with. And, those were just moments I wanted to share, because they've always stood out to me. And I've been very blessed to have experience. I definitely didn't attract or wasn't interested in the right guys per se, but like, I've had a lot of different mixes of experiences, and I wanted to share that. Okay, I love you guys.